All right. So it should be back to live now. YouTube's gonna have probably a pretty gnarly delay. It's not normal latency now, but it should be a lot better bandwidth-wise, or not bandwidth-wise, but like streakiness-wise. And unfortunately, I did have to kill the previous VOD, so like everyone's gonna have to migrate over to this one. So if you're on Twitch right now and you're like, hey, what the hell? It didn't restart. Yeah, you need to go rejoin the live stream, unfortunately, because that's how YouTube works. Welcome back, Duffs. I'm hoping that should fix it, the restart plus normal latency for stream. That should give them more time to buffer the stream before sending it to you guys. Downside is that means that it'll be delayed a little bit longer than normal. Honestly, I should probably just like... I was kind of hesitant too. I mean, it's just fucking Spectrum, probably. This is still me kind of sussing it out. This is like, what, our second week doing this, so... Yeah, it should give you guys a lot more time to buffer. Where are my bullets going? There we go. I mean, it's like every US cable company can go eat a dick, to be honest. They're so bad. Their dying business model. Alright, well, if the sniper's over there, they're dead already. And considering I'm seeing loot container inside the wall, it's probably a sign that they're dead. That could be Tormentor too. There was a bug spawn for the longest time where like you can spawn the wall and it might just instantly kill him. Tormentor's not up there, so he was probably in the wall and died. That is like, yeah, that's one of the few where like, and I'm pretty sure he only like, when you blow up the bridge, right, it means Mesa's off limits, but it doesn't make Scrapyard off limits, right? So it actually does give you a reason to do it. Blow up the bridge on Mesa, go over to Scrapyard. It makes Mesa unplayable, but gives you an easier time on Scrapyard. Fair trade-off. Yeah, he spawned in the wall and died. So the first time that's happened. Oh no, cable companies are the worst because yeah, the only thing their business model is just milking the few customers that don't have a choice. Competition scares the living fuck out of them because they realize that they don't have a recourse for that. Other than just suck a dick and die, basically. But like, for example, the Airman right now, it's like, you don't have a choice, it's Spectrum. It's also crazy too that like in our current day and age that like internet should just be a utility. They're just really rare as MR. But like, yeah, killing HKs can help you get them, but like they're not 100% drop chance, so it just takes a while to farm them. There's one in the works right now. As you can probably tell, it's really hard to do VO right now with my voice. Like, getting sick last week really fucking threw a wrench in the plans. And like, we're to the point now too where like the unit deep dives I'm doing are units that are not the easiest to get to spawn. None of you ever hold your breath for Mr. Cold Cuts ever getting a video. Because I would rather do lots of other things than try and get a codex to spawn. I don't value my time highly, but I value it more than that. I wouldn't... Every time I've thought about doing a Toothy deep dive, I'll get some footage of Toothy and it's like, it's not ready yet. Like, Toothy is so thoroughly underbaked, he's not worthy of a video yet, because it feels like it's doing him a disservice. Like, if you've seen Toothy up close, right, you realize it's like he's not fully even textured right now, right? He still does not have his full texture suite. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be only on Spectrum for a year, and then I'm moving back, and then gonna make sure the place I move to has fiber. Yeah, his model's not fully textured.
Another day.
Rat King is literally just a medium mech.
Another reason to stay alive.
Rat King is like, I've already done the video on Rat King. It's called the Europa Medium Mech video. Yeah, Toothy is not fully textured. I can show you guys if you go to Scorched Enclave and force the quest. Jump. Bring in our 20 mil. And our RPK is 762. And lots of meds. Let me make sure it's the right spot. Okay, we're good. Yeah, Wrecking is cool, but like it is a Europa Media mech. Sorry, Europa Media mech with just a helmet on.
I hate the surface.
Like functionally, it's not interesting enough for its own video. I feel like right now, if they ever expand the lore on him to like any significance, then sure. Alright. Map deep dives are probably the more interesting thing to me, actually. I will admit that, yes. So it's hard to see, right? I need to get in front of him. His leg front armor is not textured at all.
Bad place. Full of bad people.
I mean, are you gonna argue with me and say Rat King isn't just a reskinned Europa Media mech? Because we can have that argument. And I can show you all the ways where he's just a reskinned Europa Media mech. It's hard to see from the shading currently, but those front leg pattern armors, they're not textured, they're just gray.
Good thing I brought my producer.
Man, they really botched the 20 mil recently. For some reason, it just like does not impact hitboxes correctly. There we go. It's like, I think you need to aim lower than when you're trying to actually hit. I'm gonna go see if I can get to a little bit closer. 3 HK. I mean, thankfully they're distracted by Toothy. Okay, you have a flashlight. Where the why are they so quiet? Alright, just take my word for it. Fucking stealth cyborgs, man. Alright, we're good there.
Taking fire.
You just shot me. Whatever. But no, yeah, like the front leg pieces of Toothy aren't textured, or they don't maintain their LOD properly. So it's just like whenever you're doing recordings of footage of Toothy via like the cinematic, you know, mods, it just doesn't look good. Not to mention too, getting Toothy to do his sync kill is problematic. All right, hey Jaden. So can't do stairway, can't do frozen swamp. Yeah, I guess we gotta go kill the sniper, I guess. Yeah, this works. I could attack him instead to find him. That might be better off, actually. I've never seen Toothy do a sync kill in-game. Anytime I've gotten killed by Toothy, it's usually been through a melee attack, like a ground stomp.
I hate the surface.
Wait, is a sniper up there? That's fun. 8 220 mil rounds and then just fucking 3 taps bay. Alright. Mom works because Mom doesn't have a melee attack outside her sync kills, if I recall correctly. Alright, so I'm guessing the sniper rifle of our choice is going to be a grenade launcher, as opposed to a sniper rifle. Three, wait. We'll bring the tac cam again, and run it back. The drone kills can do it, but like, so the drone kills are weird. You kind of need to be like, they play a sound effect, and it takes them about like 5 seconds to before they actually trigger it, and if you move at all to it, usually interrupts it.
I hate the surface.
Alright, I win. It's so funny too how like you shoot a 20mm, you get HKs after 1 or 2 shots. You shoot a grenade launcher, no one gives a shit. Perfect.
Right now, it's on the surface.
You know what? I have a grenade launcher for this. Yeah, like so Duffs, I was curious too, and I did like force the sync kill to happen, and it will happen too, right? Once you hear like the little sound effect from drones, they like, if you stand still, they will eventually kill you. But like, they get knocked out of that like sync kill very quickly.
Good thing I brought my bullet-resistant coat.
Did it just blow up midair? What the hell? All right. So many drones. I wouldn't hold your breath, personally. No, 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 no. All right. Are we good? We're good? We're safe? Sort of, kind of.
Enemy contact.
I generally just wear the pack mule. Pack mule or equipment runner. That's really about it. Where the fuck did you come from? My god, I just came from here. And looks like we're good. I always felt like 2-3 was just like a VIP, like, it kind of felt like, what's it called? What's that service from Cyberpunk? That does like the medivacs that's like super expensive, that only rich people have? It feels like kind of like that, like for like high value targets or people. The medevac. What's platinum service, but it's called something else that's like med tech or med something. I can't remember what it's called. Like platinum service is the service in question that you see in the game during like the introduction quest. Like the person you're rescuing has platinum service, which is why they get such like, you know, the carpet rolled out for them. Alright, we're good there. Well, he gets catapulted, right? Yeah, trauma team. There we go. Thanks, Michael. Yeah, trauma team. Oh boy, we killed this Mr. Sniper Man with a grenade launcher. Way more effective than trying to snipe him, apparently. Okay, let's see here. So these two are off limits. We haven't done Scrapyard at all today, I don't think. Some gunhead, some painless. Some backup shotgun ammo. Bring attack him just in case we find a codex. I think that's a big factor too, right? Like a lot of these units are just like previous art designs from the studio or from the people in the studio.
Perhaps today is the day.
By the way, is YouTube still holding up pretty well now? Is it, has that got rid of the stuttering? Yeah. Mother Courage in a nurse's outfit. Someone summoned the grabber, the bunk grabber. All right. No more drones? With cyborgs? Okay, sure. Bu- 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 bu. I don't see anything that would like be a codex. I don't think. All these are pretty bog standard spawns, it looks like. Yeah, that's over there. Yeah, looks all pretty normal to me. No. Are we good? Peace and quiet? Everyone's dead? No, respawn's already happening. Since the launch of the game, this game? It launched in September of last year, the end of September, so we're almost approaching a year, or like 2 months from a year. Alright, you 2 or 3? Very clearly 3. But now, yeah, I'm pretty sure, I think it was like September 30th last year, if I recall correctly, maybe somewhere around there. The first patch was the October patch, so like, and that was like a month after it came out, so that tracks. I mean, the biggest thing I would say Game Shift is they've added more content to the game, but I'm not sure if like I would classify really anything they've done as honestly like major, right? That's kind of, I think, the downside of like the month-long patch cycle is that like it's great for like drip feeding content to players, but like I've never felt like we've had a giant overhaul update at all. Alright, I'm about dead. It is time to leave. Hey, Zenyaya. What questions might you have? Get a few of these and then head on out. So I'm pretty sure I'm low. I got the little noise indicator that I'm almost dead.
Awaiting new tasking.
Alright, that was Scrapyard. At this point, we've done every map, I think, today. We haven't got a normal mech trench yet. I mean, if they're trying to keep up the monthly patch cadence, I mean, they haven't said that that's their goal, right? That's what we've been saying the last 3 or 4 months. So, like, based off the recent patterns, Blood, then yeah, technically speaking. Alright, Pack Mule. What's the one we haven't used in a while? Well, what do we have ammo for, really, is a better question. VKS. Please God, no. Good truck M16. Okay, it's not the right rig. Pack Mule. Mandatory shotgun for cyborgs. So we're good there. Lots of meds for healing. And we have sortie, water, and then cigarettes. Let's bring some cigarettes in too. We'll bring 2 and get some backups. But yeah, no, Blood, like, yeah. We should be seeing a patch, like, I guess only at the end of the month. So next week, I guess, if they're keeping that cadence.
I hate the surface.
No, yeah, Duff's in that regard, like, that's been kind of a critique for a while now, is that, like, hey, like, there's a lot of shit in this game that needs to be fixed before you start or keep adding content. We need the patch? I'm not sure if that's necessarily true. Because, like, here's the thing, if they do another patch, it's just like, you know, a map plus a few quests. That's just gonna do the same thing, right? Where people are gonna log in, play the new map for, like, you know, a couple days or a week, and then go back to waiting for the next patch. Trying to keep up with players and how they consume content by making more content manually is never going to be a winning proposition. It is just you chronically falling behind on the treadmill because you're not going to be able to, like, making content is slower than consuming content. And it's not even close to being really, like, close at all. Which is why systems are important, right? You designed the treadmill to be long, so you get more out of your content. I mean, like, lots of studios have had to figure this out, right? Where, like, you're not gonna be able to outgrind the grinders in regards to consuming content. It's why the PvP games, right, where it's like the whole experience is about, like, how you fight other players and how they interact with you, right? is so popular because it provides immersion experiences to players, which gives them relatively infinite playability. It makes the life of a developer like this harder, right? Because they can't lean on that. But it doesn't mean it can't be ignored, though. Like, if they made this like a multiplayer PvP game, right, that would make it technically in a way easier, but also harder in different ways. And I think the biggest thing, right, I think like the biggest thing people are waiting for is probably a progression update too, right? Like there's the people who are currently still playing the game and still hanging out are the ones who are okay with just like vibing, right? The players who actually need the game to have structure and like meaning behind it, those are the ones who aren't here right now, which is perfectly fair, right? I can't blame them for that. But like until we see progression, they're probably not coming back, right? So progression's a very big, like, you know, on the to-do list. Well, it's not even full content though, like Game Shift. It's more of that, like, consumers have gotten really good at consuming content. They've been brought up from being wee lads on the internet now, and they've been like trained to consume content. Like back in the day, right, back in like the 90s and early 2000s when you had video games, like a lot of the game was just figuring out how shit worked and how to like game it right. But every single time you play a game now and you learn, like the more you can apply what you learn to other games and solve them quicker. Like, if you show someone who has no idea what Sudoku is, they're gonna be a lot slower than someone who's very familiar with Sudoku. And the same thing can be said about video games now too, right? But video games are so mainstream now, and people are brought up on video games constantly, or just games in general, right? That, like, they're very good at consuming content. Yeah, that's like I can't fault anything there. It's just not there yet, right? And I'm the biggest thing I'm hoping for, right, is that they're not going to abide by their Steam page and say we're hoping to leave early access after a year. No? All right. There we go. It's not even tutorial tools, it's just people getting better at games. Like, look at, I'll, you know, bring the example of Counter-Strike up, right? Because, like, Counter-Strike's been a competitive game for, like, a long time now. People are really, like, the bar, if you compare the skill level of, like, say, a global elite player from 10 years ago to a global elite player today, the global elite player today will absolutely fucking demolish the global elite player from 10 years ago. It's just that built-up experience. The first system I would, like, absolutely try and change is I would try real-time water. Real-time water, turn-based water drain. Like, it would be that plus progression tied together. Like, it wouldn't, it's hard because it's multifaceted too. Like, so, the three things I would approach, right, is turn-based water, plus inner upgrades, plus progression, based around those inner upgrades. Because that, like, yes, IRL water needed to go, but, like, I can tell you right now from my poll, right, that, like, there's been a massive loss in any sense of pressure in the game at all. Which is not, like, That's a fundamental of, I think, of games, right? There needs to be that pressure pushing you forward or to win, or the objective, right? Water is not turn-based, no. Water is just entry fee based. And sometimes it's mostly just free too, right? It doesn't scale or change or things like that, right? So essentially, like, I've highlighted the system 500 times before. I threw it out in the feedback channel in like December of this year, where it's turn-based water, right? And when you do turn-based water, you detach it from their arrow clock, so you can have players under the same system and have like the playtime be irrelevant. And you kind of make the progression for players tied to this turn-based water, right? So as players progress, the water cost of this turn gets higher and higher, and there's upgrades to help them with that, so on and so forth. Essentially, it's a way of applying pressure to the player and making the players who get later on in the game feel more pressured by the water mechanic, which is how it should be. Like, your progression should be like almost like inversed to like water, right? So like the more you progress, the worse water management becomes, right? It becomes more punishing. If you start like for example, when you die in game right now, there's not really any consequences for the most part. When you die during turn-based water, right, you lose that days of water supply, or you lose that that opportunity cost of collecting water that day. No, not necessarily, no. You're not supposed to die, it just means that when you die, it's the utmost punishing. It essentially means that, like, earlier on in the game, you're not being punished as hard as you will later in the game. So say, for example, like, I have to get into, like, math and proportionality here, but, like, early on, because your water drain is so low when you die, you're not losing that much water. But say later on, as you progress, right, you have a bunch of buildings that consume water every day, or you have civilians with you that consume water every day. When you die during that day, that water drain hits you and you don't have the income because you didn't bring any water back, so it hurts you. Essentially, the farther on you get, the less room for failure you have. It's not meaning that you're going to fail just because of how the system's designed. It means that you do not have room for failure anymore, or like you get only a few mulligans here and there, as opposed to near infinite early on. Threatening a new player with a soft wipe for failing on water isn't punishing. It's just, it isn't fairly punishing, right? It's just kicking a new player when they're down. Throwing a soft wipe at an experienced player who's late on in the game is actually a threat, right? It's a pressure mechanic. It's a system to say, hey, don't fuck up. Be careful about the fights you take. You're in the end game now. And that ties into onboarding new players. And that's what I mean by systems too, right? Like, these systems aren't siloed. Like, right now in the game, all these systems feel siloed and not very complementary. Let's do some Scorched. And in my ideal too, I've said this before on stream also about the whole cycle, right? No, why? That's something that feels arbitrary, right? Why would it restrict map access, but depending on level? Now, like, there might be doors or things you might need, like, there's nothing that should stop a player from going from somewhere, right? Like, if there's a locked door, sure, like, that's perfectly fine, right? But, like, to go to the area of Frozen Swamp, like, why? I'm not really about restricting the player, I'm more about just making the player have to make choices. I mean, you can just have that without restricting though. You can have high risk, high reward without restrictions. Like in a PvE game, right? You don't need to artificially restrict certain types of players to keep them constrained to like being fair with other players, right? If in a game like this, if a player has the skill or the ability or just like the luck to survive a high risk raid early on, props to them. Ideally, you should make it where like, you know, the higher level tools should make stuff like that easier. But it's not like a game like Tarkov, right? Where if you like let players go do some hard activity to get them like a fort or like, you know, level 6 armor plus like PKMs and shit, like that's a different story entirely, because that's gonna affect other players. So Marlon, your concern right now is that like you can't get water on characters like Scav Girl. That you're concerned with like the most important thing when I'm talking about systems like this is you cannot root it in the current economy and the systems of the game. So for example, water in this system wouldn't just be through the current water system, right, of containers on the ground. Like that's an important lens to look through, right? And then, like, for example, it actually adds more nuance to Scav Girl too, right? It allows you to make Scav Girl even more viable in her playstyle because there's a higher opportunity cost to running her, right? So say, for example, if you're wearing her stealth backpack, right, you can't carry out a big water can. Well, because of that, you can even jack up her power even more because, like, she is now, like, a very specialist character. And there's a real opportunity cost then. But in regards to water too, right? I don't think that water should be constrained to large carrying containers. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, why can't you have canteens? Why can't you have, you know, quest rewards for water too, right? You know, is it better off for you to do quests for water as opposed to do pickups for waters, right? Like, honestly, it's generally the way to do it right now, too. Picking up, you're generally better off taking Scav Girl, going quick, and then completing some quests, as opposed to, like, taking in the rack with Bagman and trying to find a water. That just goes into balancing. That goes into, like, the person doing the math behind the scenes and making sure it all works. You know, like designing a system. But, like, no, like, that adds just nuance to the, that adds choice to the game, though, right? It's like, hey, you have the characters who can carry more, or, like, you could actually add the utility of, like, you can balance the rigs around that too, right, and actually add choice. The lighter rigs could be stealthier, the heavier rigs could be less stealthy. Naturally, the heavier rigs can carry more, and the lighter rigs can't. And so, like, you can add a bunch of different levels, like levers on that to make it more interesting. And actually give the characters some agency and some choice, as opposed to always bring X, Y, and Z backpack. But no, you're mainly just, you're concerned about the balance of it, And that's part of doing systems design, is doing the math behind the system and figuring out what kind of tolerances systems have in regards to failures, right?
I hate the surface.
I mean, that's kind of been like, there's already like posts on the Discord too, right? Complaining that small rigs aren't really useful. That's been a thing. That's not even not talking about the current water system I'm talking about. That's already been a complaint. Because, like, yeah, why would you ever wear the standard rig right now? The only rig we have that breaks that paradigm is the new stealth rig. I'm saying neither. I'm saying that in a perfect world that shouldn't matter at all. Or that, like, if you choose to bring a smaller rig, then you need to probably choose other ways of obtaining water, like collecting lots of loose items that may give you water as opposed to a big container. Or, for example, doing quests to make up the water deficit. Or, for example, you do one run with a heavy rig and then one run with a light rig, because it balances it out. So keep in mind, the turn-based system too, I didn't elucidate this earlier. So say, for example, a turn is a set amount of shifts. So it's not just like every shift, like every time you play a map, that's one turn and it drains water immediately. It's more of X turns make up a day and a day drains a water. So say, for example, it's not just you do one raid, it drains water immediately, it's you do X raids, that drains water in a chunk. So say, for example, there's a morning, afternoon, and night shift, right? So that gives you 3 shifts to make up whatever water you need for the day. And you might not even need to do anything. Maybe you have systems in place that get water for you. Maybe you've made some choices. Maybe you have some supply lines, who knows? But it's not just like you need to make water this shift or you're fucked. It's more of you need to go make water before the water drain, or have stockpiled water up beforehand, right? And like that means that it's not just constantly running Scav Girl with the light backpack. It's like, oh hey, like, you know, I want to be stealthy or fast this run because I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z. I'm not too concerned with water this run, so I don't need to worry about bringing in a backpack that can carry lots of water out. In contrast, I want to go get lots of water, and I want to do it through X, Y, and Z method, so I might go bring in the rack with Bagman, as opposed to play Scav Girl. And if your point is that you only want to play Scav Girl, well, that's an artificial challenge you can put up on yourself, right? If you want to ignore the 5 other scavengers, that's certainly a way to play. Yeah, so like providing choices to players in regards to, like, you know, and it diversifies, you know, classes more, right? So Scav Girl might be like one of the best quest runners in the game because she's fast and she can be really stealthy. But what do you mean by fatigue? Like reasons to not play characters back to back? I don't think that needs to be done. I would rather positively reinforce players to do different things as opposed to negatively reinforce them because they get punished if they do something back to back. I'm much more about positive reinforcement.
Keep your finger off the trigger.
Or rewarding players as opposed to punishing them. Mr. Exo, can you please move? I mean, stamina would be interesting. I mean, I'm kind of confused why we don't have stamina right now, but like, please don't murder me. My only concern is that like the game can already be kind of punishing at times. I feel like stamina would just be more draconian.
Wake me up in a year.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's that type of game in my opinion. And I feel like trying to lean more into the Milsim more realistic is a mistake. I would rather the difficulty come from like difficult encounters and units and choices than just mechanics that try and make the game feel Milsim-y. Because like they're never going to make the game feel good enough, I feel, in my opinion, to like warrant those systems or make them not just feel awful. Like, I would rather present, like, yeah, like, I would rather have players get rewarded or, like, have, like, reinforced, like, I would rather reinforce the behaviors of playing different characters than just punishing players if they try and just do the same character over and over again. Like, if a player wants to play Scav Girl back to back to back to back, they can. Should the game, like, make it easier for them to do that? No. But should the game punish them for doing that? No, also. Alright, 50 cal. Big. Stock up. Alright, we're good there. Shotgun ammo. We'll bring in some big boy meds this time. All of the big boy meds. Let me leave a few back, I guess. Alright, we should be good. I mean, I would rather actually have it to the point where, like, if you don't bring certain characters in during, like, a day, like, maybe they have downtime activities to reward you, or, like, give you benefits. Say, for example, if you play, like, Scav Girl 3 times a raid, and the other 5 scavengers you have unlocked are just chilling in the innards doing stuff for you. Wait, what? Oh, that's right. I activated that earlier. That's why. The radar tower over there I activated like a few runs ago, so that means I get HKs immediately. I actually wonder. I kind of feel like you could. You could probably get to the point where every map is almost, except for I think Scrapyard might be the only safe one. As in, like, you can muck up every map so bad that, like, you would get HKs or shield officers on every single one, except I think Scrapyard might be the only reprieve. Maybe Scorched Enclave too. I can't recall if there's anything on Scorched Enclave that causes HKs to spawn immediately. There is the generator there, but I don't think that causes HKs to spawn. But you can fuck up Stairway, you can fuck up Frozen Swamp, you can fuck up this map. Can you fuck up Elephant? I'm not sure if you can fuck up Elephant actually. But I think you can get insta HKs on Elephant though. Alright, is Tormentor there? They are not. I haven't seen them in a hot second. I wonder if they're just dying immediately. Alright, is he dead inside again? Hopefully, maybe not. Nope, there he is. Just shot me through the crack. He's stuck in there. Well, we found the Tormentor. Surprised he still gets spawned in here. It's been a bug for a while, I guess. Well, I can't get you in there, unfortunately. I guess that's where you live now. Well, I guess you can kind of see him up close right now. Sort of, kind of, through the crack. He's got a little red thing right there. Anyway. Is his head through the wall here? Oh yeah, there he is. Leave me alone. It basically is just an EOD with a UMEAT mask. You are correct, yeah.
Calculated.
Alright, that solved that.
Enemy contact. Not sure where.
But no, yeah, he's basically just an EOD with a grenade launcher, and a funny mask. Oh my god. Where are you all coming from? Don't I have that turned off? Or turned on, or whatever? My god. So what you're saying, Duffs, is you want them to be unkillable. Alright, heard. Because basically the only way currently to make that actually a threat. I mean, nothing should be, but like, there's not really a way with them to currently, inside the silhouette of this game, or the scaffolding of this game, to make a unit like that any bit threatening without essentially giving them infinite HP.
Calculated.
That's right, we have HK, that's already constantly aggroed. It's the same thing with Pyro on Scorched Enclave, right? Like, there's nowhere you can throw... There's nowhere you can throw Pyro where a sniper can't just gun him in the head. Like, that's the big problem, really. No matter where you put Pyro on Scorched Enclave, he's gonna get headshot in the head by a sniper rifle or grenade launcher across the map. Alright, that's good, that's good. Oh, Frozen Swamp, how I miss you. Wait, it looks like they're gone now, though. Maybe we can actually play. Maybe we can play it? Hold on. Are we free? We're gonna give it a try. And before we get shield officered again. Alright, 50 cal. I have nothing left of it, so we need to go over to something else. M4 it looks like. And then shotgun's perfectly fine too. Alright, meds. And a few drills. And I believe we're good. Alright, no shield officer. I mean, the way I would personally do it is I would tuck them into areas where they can't be sniped or grenade launched easily, right? But that would require, like, indoor areas or just, like, more thorough maps. You would make it that, like, you need to journey to them, right? And you just can't find them when you enter the map, like you currently can. But that's a map thing. So far, so good. I haven't seen Mr. Shieldy yet. Knock on wood. No, yes, okay, we're safe. No. Alright, freedom. Alright, give me that. Let's go blow up some drones. But no, so yeah, that's like kind of the ideal, right? Is like, yeah, you make it that you tie killing things like that to progression, and you make part of progression is getting the items to deal with special units like that, yes. Though it's kind of hard to contextualize that without armor. I mean, at that point, though, too, you're basically just doing armor in a very convoluted way. When you start, you know, locking items off that can deal with certain units, you basically have armor at that point, but not literally. Alright, drones are dead. As they skate around. Oh my god, they keep spawning. Please stop spawning. I said please. Alright, so then we have Scav Scrap, part 1 and 2. So, Injector Site, and then Train Yard. Now, someone was saying they were having issues finding Scav Scrap a couple days ago, so I'm curious if it's actually bugged or just they got really unlucky. It's not a guaranteed spawned container, and the containers it can spawn in are also like random too. They don't always spawn. So I'm kind of curious if it's just they got unlucky. I think this is ammo here. Yeah, ammo. So ideally we're looking for these containers here. I think this is a regular one.
Good thing I brought my weather-resistant coat.
Alright, we're good there.
Keep together.
Alright, no container up here, unfortunately. Like, this is like one of the spawns that's variable. Like, a container can spawn right here, but it's always not consistent. And then we're basically confined to going down the staircase now, looking for crates there. Z. So the Z key will ping.
Ah, shit! Fire!
Yeah, very useful. It's a lot of the maps can be quite dark sometimes, so it's very hard to tell silhouettes. It helps out quite a lot. So far we haven't found it either. There's like a few more spawns down here we might be able to find it on. Yeah, we're missing like there's two that can spawn here too, which are gone, or not there. So we're really only looking at the ones down here now for this this quest item.
Not sure where.
The flashlights are kind of funny in this game, yeah, 100%. More often than not, they just ends up blinding you. Especially when you start shooting too, oh god. Alright, we have 2 more spots to find this quest. There we go, convoy schedule. Took us the entire objective site to find it though. Alright, now part 2. Well, I mean, like, I think the problem with this game, right, is that, like, the particle system, when you shoot your gun, just does not play well with the light system. So it, like, sometimes will just end up blinding you. It's also the whole thing, too, right, where to, like, actually use the flashlight, you have to ADS, at least the gun ones. I've always found that to be quite kind of weird, to be honest. Yeah, Gunhead's third-person recoil too is also pretty like aggressive in comparison to other characters. Like, the best thing I guess I can say is just like don't do bursts. If you're going to burst, make it a long burst because like bullets 2 to like 4 or 5 are just really hard to control. Or basically uncontrollable because they just jump up so much in comparison to everything else. Alright, Scav Scrap Part 2. That's done. I don't really recall that in Dead Space, but I believe you. Oh, you're talking like OG Dead Space? The new remake one. The only like super bad thing I remember from the OG Dead Space that was like if you didn't, it like forced VSync on, and if you had VSync on, the input delay on PC was like literally half a second. It was so bad. Like imagine moving your mouse and it's so delayed that you can actually like, it's so bad. It made it so hard to aim. The remake, okay. I can't recall any issues with any stuff in the remake. Man, it's so sad they're not remaking 2. No, 2 still holds up, I will say. But a remade 2 would have been like so awesome. So sad.
Another day.
I'm sure they'll remake it eventually. It's gonna be a while. Alright, quest complete. Like, I'm kind of hoping that, like, I was kind of hoping, to be honest, that they were willing to, like, redo 2, redo 3, and kind of retcon 3, the original 3. Or just rework 3 entirely to actually make it survival horror again. I guess considering Stairway's unfucked also, we need to go do a Stairway to see if we can get Night Shift. I swear it's not cope. It's just hope. I haven't seen the rain in so long. Alright, we're good there. Stairway. Yeah, I'm not even sure. Well, what's even the end game though, right? Of like, I don't know. It certainly is an escalation. I kind of have the problem feeling too, like with Dead Spaces 3 lore or like Dead Spaces 3 like trajectory, that like they would even be able to keep a survival horror kind of element to it, right? Because you kind of do turn into this like hero who has to go stop the fucking Fermi paradox.
Taking fire!
No, hey, leave me alone. Yeah, that kick though. I mean, you can't keep doing horror forever, right? But I did, like, Dead Space 2 did, like, stray much more into the action, but it kept the survival horror element still there, right? Like, Dead Space 2 was definitely more action-packed than Dead Space 1. It was, like, Dead Space 1 was a pretty, like, bog standard, but really well done survival horror. And then, like, 2 was definitely still survival horror, right? But, like, it was more action-focused. But, like, 3 started to abandon, like, the horror elements altogether. Where it just kind of turned Isaac into an action hero. I mean, jump scares, sure, you can still have like a tense atmospheric feeling, but like Dead Space 3 didn't even try. At no point were the environments in Dead Space 3, like, a few of the areas in orbit at the very beginning were kind of like that, but like, overall, it abandoned it very quickly. Alright, we're good there. Gather some loot. I mean, I always kind of felt like Dead Space 4 or the Earth one, right, would have always been like Isaac finding some way of like destroying, what they call the Moon People, the Dead Space aliens, or like locking them back up, basically, turning them dormant or whatever. Kind of doing with like, I believe the original Lord Dead Space, right, was like there was markers across like the planet that was like locking these creatures up, basically, right, as a means of control. So like essentially just doing that again, right? Like using the markers to basically like lock them back up. And reminding people, hey, stop touching this shit. Yeah, Brethren Moons. There we go. I can remember the term for them. So many suitcases. Is there a radio over here, or is this a guy in the ground? Yeah, they're on the ground. I can hear that. You can see the flashlight occasionally. Yep, they're on the ground. All right, understood. How to move on. No containers over here, so I guess we're good. Yeah, I'm guessing there's like some like room down there, I guess. I don't know, that's a pretty bog standard spot for them to get stuck quite often. It's not the first time I've seen that happen.
Remember, we're already dead.
I haven't seen Wrecking in a while. I haven't had like an actual factual night shift in a while, except like Trench. We do Scorched Enclave, I guess. Shifting Tide. And save the Water Thief. Get a recon going on, and what else? Oh, that works. We can go over to Scav Girl. Let's use a regular backpack, though, and not the stealth backpack. Shotgun's perfectly fine. We'll bring a little bit of 45. How much do we have left, though? Not much, right? Enough. Okay, that works. Pretty small medkits. Nope, can't do it. I mean, I was just gonna kill game shift. I was gonna go hunt him, not. I don't know about abandonment. Just go hunting. Break out the good old grenade launcher. Don't mind me, just gonna go rescue a water thief real quick. Whee! Hey Ninja, how's it going? Alright, we're good there. Let me grab some water real quick. Alright, yes, you're going.
Gotta hold on to this for safekeeping.
Come on, Goose. Anyway. You picked literally like the longest way out, man. My God. Did they? Did he literally fold in a fucking single bullet? This is the Spectre M4. Essentially just a 45 SMG. Well, apparently he was a double cyborg. It does have bot allies. There's companions. Yeah, there's companions in the game. I mean, how useful they are is questionable. But they do exist. There's an entire vendor who sells you them. You know worries. No, they're companions. Today I haven't sweated up. I've sweated up in the past, yeah. That would insinuate game shit that there's ever idle time during raids.
Enemy contact. Not sure where.
But no, yeah, like if there's an entire vendor who just sells you companions, right? Recruits, Charles. We'll sell you recruits, and then you can pick up recruits here. Now, once again, how useful they are is questionable, but they do exist. I guess we can go mess around with them real quickly with Bagman. I mean, I wouldn't just want to see higher numbers for the sake of higher numbers, though. I don't genuinely enjoy artificial difficulty. I don't really want to play Division 2. I guess we'll go over to Painless, right? So Painless and Grenade Launcher. No problem. But no, yeah, they're they exist. That's all I can say. I mean, games that would be nice to see is like actual times where like maps aren't in conflict. I actually, I would not mind if they upped the lethality of infantry if they nuked the amount of infantry that are in fights or on maps. Like, I would much, if they were gonna make both players and NPCs more lethal, I'm okay with that. I think that would be a better option than like having, I would rather have fewer units that are deadlier, that are more well done, as opposed to a bunch of units that kind of just meander around the map. So once again, they're kind of derpy. No, they just have their own kits that they come in with. They turn HUD mode on. They are. I mean, there was a time, right, where like I went AFK for a bit. Why can't I jump? There we go. That was weird. There was a time where like I went AFK for a bit and I came back and a bunch of Eurasian cyborgs and soldiers reformed into a squad and were patrolling the area, right? Because the spawns were a lot more chill back then, and they and like there was nothing for them to fight, so they squatted up and started patrolling around, which is super fucking cool. But guess what? You never see that because the spawns are so quick and aggressive that like they're always in a state of fighting. Come on. This a little derpy. Technically it's only actually until you die. I mean, you can buy more of them or get more of them, but like, even if all three of them die, as long as I live, they don't count against their use, basically. No, there is a reason why, like, yeah, I wasn't like, yeah, they exist. That's really about it. Like, they're not useless, they do just... they're their own worst enemy. Oh, he's gone too. They're all dead. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed your your experience with companions. Well, they're not shooting through each other. They're shooting into each other. The bullets were not going through them. They were just eating each other's bullets.
We're on the clock, people. Kill them quick.
Alright, we're good there. Hello.
On the clock, people. Kill them quick.
Fucking cyborgs. Alright, moment's reprieve before more cyborgs spawn. Oops. Alright, I think we're mostly good. I don't really want to overstay my welcome here, to be honest. I feel like I'm being followed right now. Yep. Alright, I'm out of bullets, time to go. Oh no, yeah, I'm not a fan, don't you worry. The artificially fast respawns just feel genuinely awful.
It's never enough.
Because like no matter what, it just feels like part of being a scavenger or a rat, I feel like, is like waiting for conflicts to blow over and then you sneak through or by, right? But like so many of the maps are all so like all gas that there's never really a reprieve for like a timing like sneak through, right? They kind of do. I mean, they do kind of have a no spawn around them. There used to be pop in a lot earlier, right, in the game, where things would spawn around you. It's not really that anymore, it's just more in the sense of they just don't stop spawning. They don't do it like immediately next to you, but like they do keep spawning. I guess we can do cemetery again, since we botched it the first time. I mean, that one near the one near that, yeah, there's lots of cyborgs that spawn there.
Don't leave anything on the cutting room floor.
I honestly, I would rather them just remove suppressors from the game and then just make guns more interesting and like make the stealth system more interesting and more just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Alright, nothing over there. Like, the fact that suppressors feel mandatory, I think, is awful because it just means you run a suppressor and there's not really any thought put behind it. The Scar is the only gun that breaks that paradigm. I mean, it's nice, but it's the only one that breaks that paradigm. And even then, with the cyborg buffs, it actually is like kind of removed some of the utility of the scar, right? Like the scar is still really good for cyborgs, right? But like the fact that the scar used to one-shot cyborgs in the head was like a saving grace of it, right? I'm kind of curious if that was a bug, like they didn't mean to do that.
Not enough ammo in the world for this.
I do find it like weird how like they went from like what I would consider pretty decent cyborg balance to like now it just feels a bit too draconian. I mean, I'm always more concerned about choice in video games, and like when there's a... Why even have unsilenced guns if you're kind of mandated to run a suppressor? That's the illusion of choice, not actual choice. Once again, Scar being the only weapon that breaks that paradigm, really. Be free.
Christmas.
Are those crawlers or scramblers? Scramblers, okay. Alright, time to leave. Got my stuff, got the quest done. Let's not get seen.
Looks like we rolled Snake Eyes.
No, yeah, Azamar for sure. The UI indicators with the HUD mode on do not help with seeing things sometimes. I'll let you know that they're there, but like for actual targeting or shooting, it can be hard.
Another day, another dollar.
I mean, if we're gonna roll up the anti-shooter conversation, hold on here. Yeah, just like the game doesn't really do that right now. Every axis, like weapon should, like if you're playing an anti-shooter, right, weapon should be a tool of last resource. Meaning that like the using a weapon should have clear downsides. You shouldn't want to use them. Having unsilenced weapons would mean that like, yeah, you have the power of a weapon in your hand, but at the same time, do you really want to use it and suffer the consequences? Alright, but anyway, that's it for today, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'll be back on Friday. Kind of curious if we're going to see some news soon. We haven't heard the Q&A has been in, I guess, limbo for like, what, 2 months now? We still haven't heard the Q&A back, so maybe we'll see a patch this month, maybe we'll not, maybe they're busy, I don't know, we'll figure it out. But yeah, we'll see. Friday the stream, and then I'm working on the new video. Hopefully I can do the recording soon. My voice says no currently, but we'll see. Other than that, take it easy, everyone. See you next Friday, or see you this Friday, and bye all.